What's going on? What's going on? Welcome to my very first, and I plan it not to be just the first, but the first of many podcasts, Bipolar Maniacs. Yes, welcome. Anyway, enough of that special sound effect shit. Basically, let me start off to tell y'all the reason why I named this podcast Bipolar Maniacs. Bipolar disorder. First of all, the definition of that is the larger condition that includes bipolar depression. It's a lifelong or chronic illness. It's a condition that affects the brain in a way that can cause extreme mood swings that vary in length. People with bipolar disorder can go from mania, meaning the highs, feeling euphoric or revved up and irritable, to depression, meaning the lows, feeling down or hopeless. These highs and lows are called episodes. So basically what we're doing is having episodes. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why, to even touch a little bit more on why I named this Bipolar Maniacs, is because you're going to experience various highs and various lows. My subjects, I have no filter. We're going to talk sports. We're going to talk sex. We're going to talk family. We're going to talk religion. Anything that you guys want to hear. But I'm just by myself. So you know what I'm saying? I'm going to do the best that I can for that. The first thing I want to talk about, and it's kind of like a touchy subject to me, and it's voting. You know what I'm saying? And I want to get y'all views on it. Basically until this year, which is 2018, the very last time that I voted, aside from this year, like I said, was my freshman year in college. I believe it was like the year 2000, which was when we were having a presidential race with, I think his last name was like Kerry or something. So, you know, I'm not really into politics, man, but I think that was the last time that, you know what I'm saying, I voted prior to now. And the reason why is because I've always had that stubborn mind, a stubborn mentality, especially after getting out of college. You know, you hear all these people preaching to vote, vote, vote. You know what I'm saying? And that's all good. But, you know, an ideal, average 37-year-old black man like me, and even younger people, it doesn't have to put an age limit on it. But you know what I'm saying? We're tired. You know what I'm saying? We're tired of the bullshit. We're tired of people preaching. We're tired of people saying, go vote, go do this, go do that. You know, and the results are the same. You know what I'm saying? So the thing that I had to realize about that was just, hey, you know, you got to grow up at some point, because the world right now, in the way that I see it, is very different compared to 18 years ago, the way that I saw it. I didn't give a fuck about this world, you know, or I didn't just give a fuck about, you know, who was in office and all that other stuff. Because my favorite thing was saying, who cares? You know, I mean, it's not going to change my livelihood. You know, whoever's up in this Oval Office or whoever we pick to be the Senate or the House of Representatives, it's not going to change shit. And as a young guy, you know what I'm saying? I mean, hey, you're going to experience those things. You're young. You're still trying to, you know, get to know the world, you know, experience life the way that you want to experience it. So at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? That's how I felt, you know, from 18 all the way up to 36. And like I said, I'm 37 years old now, and I'm seriously taking this serious. That makes very much fucking sense. Anyway, like I said, you know, y'all got to excuse me. This is my first podcast, so there may be some mistakes and mishaps along the way, just like that fake ass clap that I put. But back to the subject at hand, man. The reason why that I chose to take this voting serious now is because naturally, when you get older, I think what happens, regardless of whether you're a man or a woman, you start realizing things. You start looking at the world as a whole. I feel like when you're young, you know what I'm saying, you look at certain things, you know what I mean, that are closed in. You don't look at what your parents are looking at. You don't look at their views. You don't look at, you know, these elder folks' views who's fought, you know, for some of us to even get a chance to vote. You're very close minded when you're young, and I know when I was young, man, I wasn't paying attention. All I wanted to do was basically fuck a chick, go to school half the time, meaning college, and just play football. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I did. And now life is real, very, very real. I got 3 kids, 3 girls, by the way, that God blessed me with, 16, 14, and 12. I've been married 3 years now. And I'm not going to lie, man, marriage is a challenge. Do not get in that shit unless you are very fully committed. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, man, I really think that, voting is very important. Now, I think we have to turn our cheeks toward the youth. We have to look at the youth and concentrate on them. We have to kind of make it like how when Diddy was doing the whole rock the vote, when we brought Barack and all of them in office, the Democratic Party was smiling, you know what I'm saying? And we had every right to. Not only did we make history, but the contributions, you know what I'm saying, to me were like out of this world. But now, we've got somebody that, and I won't even refer to him as a president, man. He's a celebrity staff in chief is what I like to prefer him to. Shout out to Charlemagne the God, you know what I'm saying, for that nickname. But, if we really want stuff done and to change, because you see this person on a national level, but what the young folks and even folks my age or elderly folks have to realize is that that national level can trickle down all the way to your city or to your state. And basically, I feel like that's what it's done for over the past, even though this guy hasn't been in an office for like a full term, but for over the past like couple of years or so, I'm just starting to see these changes in this world, especially with racism. We got topics, well, not even topics, but we got real life events happening. I went on my not Facebook page, but I went on my Instagram page, man. And I believe it's a woman out of St. Louis who is supporting the Brown family, who was a victim to police brutality down there. She was a well-known activist. And, the first thing that I see, and it amazed me, man, was a picture of her and her son at the top. And then below that picture was a picture of him hanging on a tree. And I mean, this was like 1800. This was a whole lynching style. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm having a hard time of understanding is how are some of these things still happening now? That, was slavery back in the 1800s or in the civil rights era. And, you have to take a strong person to do that, to put your dead child in the media for everyone to see in such a way. Because let me tell you, not only was he hanging from a tree, but it was a good old lynching style. I'm talking about the pants down, and him just hanging there. And back in the day, you know what I'm saying? Especially like you can look at movies and see this, but, the way that they hung, especially male slaves, especially when they caught them, a lynching is when you hang a person. And not only that, but if they're a male, you castrate them. That's why most of the time you'll see the pants hanging down. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to make a mockery out of a black man who's tried to make a point or who's tried to make a difference. And not just with the black folks, but breaking the barriers, with white folks too. So like I was saying, man, I was just amazed like when I saw that. And for me, I stare at shit like that. I stare, you know what I'm saying? So I stared into that. And the more I stared, the more I started thinking like, my kids, what am I going to do? How am I going to talk to them? What am I going to say? So, it's just very hard. We're experiencing hard times, and I just really think that it's important for a lot of parents to go out there and influence, you know what I'm saying, their kids and their children to vote or have some knowledge. Like I said, I'm not a big political guy, but it's just like going to school, man. You got to do your homework and know what's out here, know these laws. Surround yourself with people who know or have more knowledge than you, and you can pass it on to them. So at the end of the day, man, I just feel like we got to make a change. And the only way that we can make that, regardless of whether the young folks believe it or not, is to go ahead and bust that vote. I mean, bust it wide open. You know what I'm saying? Because right now what we have going on is modern day slavery or modern day lynchings. You look at people like, or groups like the KKKs or the skinheads. Now they have different names and they're disguising themselves behind this guy that we have in office, which is the celebrity in chief. And, it's just important for us to look out. My daughter just came in, my youngest, from school, and she was telling me that, they actually talked about the shootings that went down in Pittsburgh of the synagogue. And, I feel like that's very important, because even all throughout this year, when I come or when she comes in and we talk, greet each other, and I ask her how was her day, there's nothing that's informative of what the school is teaching them with the politics and social stuff that's going on. So, I'm glad that she's aware, because like I told her, that's why me and her mom get on her and her sister so much. We have to make sure that our kids are aware of their surroundings. You know what I'm saying? Out in these public areas, man. So, on that tip, I didn't mean to spend like the whole 15 minutes on here. Like I said, I'm just starting out, man. This is the rookie version of session. So I'm still trying to get right and get comfortable with these things. Hopefully in the near future, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna have my brother on here. We're going to talk, and he's more crazier than me. So that's where it's going to really get bipolar. Because like I said, we're going to see the highs and the lows. You know what I'm saying? And he's more bipolar than me. He's going to, speak his mind, and he doesn't hold his water by any chance. So I think, that's what's going to even pop or make this podcast pop with the Bipolar Maniacs is my brother. He's like the secret formula or the secret ingredient to the recipe that I need, And we may throw up a little podcast, you know what I'm saying, this weekend, maybe tonight or whenever. But, when we get on the subjects or the topics of marriage, sports or family life or social events, believe me, man, we have different opinions. But I believe that's the reason why, we're best friends. And that's my brother, is because even though we have different opinions, the respect level is there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna need everybody to, tell a friend, tell a, family member, tell everybody, you know what I'm saying, that, the podcast is up and it's Bipolar Maniacs, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna go hard with this, man. Like I said, this is my first one. So, no experience other than, my journalism degree and writing for the newspapers and stuff like that down here, Now I want to do things on my own term and my own way. So, like I said, man, tell a friend, we out here. I'm out here. You dig? And everybody have a blessed day, a blessed weekend. And you're going to be hearing more from me. You know what I'm saying? Bipolar Maniacs, man. We out.